There it goes. Oh, hey, hello. I want to hear the music today. Is that no? I'm saying I should be hearing our actual music. Here we go. Nope, not hearing the music today. It's a silent day. What the? There it goes. Ah. But of course. Oh, that's totally wrong too. Huh? Prep for the Rolex. Oh, hey, get over there. You, stay there. All right, you ready? Let's do this. That's the way it's gonna happen today, because this is the way it's working. Hey, everybody, welcome, show 9. Not your average show. And when we mean that when we invite you into the whole experience for today, January 29th, that is Friday, we are prepping for the Rolex 24. And basically what that means is behind me and on Corey's cam, you can see a whole plethora of stuff that we're going to introduce to you that we have to take with us to the Rolex. So we're just going to be breaking down some of our goals. First, we're going to introduce you to some of the equipment. Then we're going to talk about some of the goals, and we have to kind of break up the studio, the way we're shooting it, to make sure that we can make this work, so that you guys have some information on what we're going to be using. But that's the premise of it. Whether or not this is going to work or not, we've never done this before. This is a kind of smaller space, so we're pushing the maximum ability of what we will call the studio. Now, what you see behind you is a representation of the equipment, and Corey's still hashing through the actual hashtags for the show, because still doing tags because literally we just spent almost 2 hours doing camera setup, basically going through each different setup on each different camera, plugging away on it, seeing which one's going to work better for which particular setup, because we have, for this particular shoot coming up, we have 2 4K cameras, and they're both of a really good quality. And the difference is that which one is going to work for what we call our shoot setup, right? And it's important when you're trying to set something else like this up, how you're going to kind of get your activities together, all right? And so let's take a look at this one, because this is pretty interesting. This is 2 cameras that we will be using. One is a Sony ZV-1. That camera gets used as part of our production for Corey's shot on his position. So where you see Corey working right there on the desk, we use the camera currently. That's the Sony on the side of your picture on the smaller gimbal. When we are doing other shoots, so that's going to be basically what we're calling our B-roll film, right? And then the larger Lumix camera, which you see on the larger stabilization device, that is what we call our main camera. Now, the idea is that these 2 devices in and of themselves have some very similar features, and just to talk about them for a minute is what I'm going to do here. So as Corey's tapping away in the background. So the GH5 itself, all right, is from the Panasonic Lumix line. It was one of the first 4K, 30 frame per second, 4/3 bodied cameras with in-body stabilization, in-lens stabilization. It shoots in 10-bit profile, which means the colors that you get from this camera are immaculate. And it's really a supersonic workhorse in the entry-level 4K video shooting range. And it also does offer a very capable set of high dynamic range shooting profiles. The Sony, on the other hand, is a newer entry into the market. It's relatively new in the marketplace. Sony created this camera specifically with having YouTube creators and content creators in mind, because it also shoots in 40K 30 frames per second. It's 1/3 the price of the GH5. However, The ZV-1 comes with digital stabilization. It has fantastic out-of-the-box picture profiles, meaning that the camera operates in low light, does a lot more shooting on the automatic settings for you. It is almost a point-and-click kind of or point-and-shoot creator's camera, and it's widely reviewed on YouTube. You can go out there and put in Sony ZV-1, and you'll see plenty of videos where they're taking the ZV-1 and they're showing you how to basically set it and get excellent profile performance from the camera. Now, the GH5 being older has been, I will say, professional shooters have taken this camera out and they have compared it to everything in the Canon line. They have compared it to stuff in the Red Epic line. And this is also another fantastic body shooting camera. The body of itself, the guts, everything else does a good job. So we're going to go through today is we're going to try something completely different because we have to get prepared. And in order to get prepared, we have to pack up our things. Because the intent is... Are you still having our way back there?
Oh yeah, dude. Trying to get all the brands and everything. Tags and...
Okay, so he's still hitting that up. So as he's still working...
Come on over.
Yeah, well...
I'm...
You're still working? I don't want to... I'll be there in a minute.
Okay.
So as what we have... for the attempt of covering the Rolex, we have the emphasis of what we do for tomorrow is to give you a first person's perspective on what it's like to attend the Rolex 24 as an attendee. So for people that's never had an opportunity to go to the Rolex 24, we're going to be there. We're going to show you. We're pretty much professionals at this. We've been to the Rolex 24. I'm going to say it's going to be my 10th time going. It's one of my favorite events of the year. So it offered also the same opportunity for the first time to cover something for a YouTube channel from that perspective. We also want to do some creative rolling. So when we take the two cameras out with us and all the equipment, we want to be able to go out and do some cinematographic style shooting of a different style video. So one video that we're going to shoot is going to be taking you on a 10-minute journey of what it's like to attend. The second video that we're going to produce is going to be more of a cinematographic test reel of the equipment and to see if we could take our basic entry-level camera skills and our basic entry-level photo editing software and video editing software and put that to the test and put together maybe a 3-minute experience video with no talking, just cinematographic shots and taking you on that experience. And then lastly, we're going to make another video that's going to be what it took to get to that place. So it's kind of a 1, 2, 3, and that's the not average about what we're trying to do is, yes, we are first-time creators. We have very little experience in this, so it's all growth for us. If it comes out horrendously or it comes out great, the truth of the matter is, as part of being a content creator, you have to accept that, right? And what the other experience for us is that because we're focusing on a wide variety of different fields, including things that happen in the automotive industry, technology, gaming, so on and so forth, and we're kind of a culmination of some of those discussions, we're going to be taking those skills and applying it to each one of those different areas that we can get to and attend and bring our different perspective on it. So that's the premise of this whole. To give you the basic rundown. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to switch over to the couch cam. I'm going to move over there, and are you going to start with some of the explanations here, or what are you going to go through?
I'll go on. Come on over though.
All right, well I'm going to come over. So I'm going to mute this microphone. We're going to set some things up because I got to move away from this position. So give me 1 second here.
Live, come on.
Okay, so let's go over to the couch.
Come on over.
Couch cam is now live, and audio is coming through there, so we'll get some levels and
We'll have chat over
features.
here on the right, just so you know.
Hey everybody, we're back. We're in the couch cam. So, hello. Oh, my head's cut off. Ha! That's great. All right, so I guess I'll have to sit down then. So my head's just a little cut off. Hey, here we go. Everybody can hear me loud and clear. We have, first of all, our mascot. Roscoe's here as well. Are you coming? Or are you making me do this by myself?
No.
All right, so let's start with the first thing that we talked about. What we're going to be bringing is cameras, right? So there's camera 1. Camera 2 is sitting over there, so we can't bring you that one, so we showed you pictures of that. But for every shoot that we go through, also, we have a wide-bodied lens on the ZV-1, so we're actually shooting with the WL1, and this is from Ulanzi, and you'll see plenty of reviews for this out on YouTube by other creators that just go out and they show you this kind of stuff, right? So we're using that, and then, can you pronounce that?
Nope.
Nope, I can't.
That's how you pronounce it.
Shayun? I don't know. It's a crane. The crane M2. So here's.
Zoom it in a bit more. I can bring you.
You can bring it in a little bit.
A bit more,
Sure. Do it.
Right, people? You want to see stuff, don't you?
So, in order to get some of these shots down, maybe you want to bring my head into it so we're not quite shooting my head off. But anyhow, here we go with the basics of the camera stuff. So, we'll go into lenses. We have a pancake lens, which is a 20mm for the Lumix line. That is for the GH5. We also have an ultra-wide. This is a prime lens. This is an 8x18 ultra-wide. Fantastic lens for the GH5. So this is another beautiful piece that we're taking with us. And the wide-body lens for the ZH1. The ZV1. Those are coming with. Okay, so after you have that, when you get established in the shot, the next thing you need, white balance cards. So these will be part of each shoot. When we go to set up, we have to go ahead and make sure that our white balance is set on each camera in different lighting situations so we can go ahead and bring you the best looking content that we can provide. So these will be traveling with us. Okay? After that, if we can't get good footage, the problem that we have is when you're on the road and you're moving, and some of the footage we're going to be getting is going to be active, moving shots. We have one gimbal for smartphones.
Yes.
Which Corey's going to walk you through that one.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and talk to them to that one a little bit.
So this is the DJI Osmo. There's a few versions of these now. I think there's 4. This is the 4th one, or this is the first one. Excuse me. It comes with a nice mount you can use to just kind of have it there, and as you play with it and set it up. Excuse me, but
Don't sit there, Roscoe.
watch out for Doge.
Doge.
But yeah, so what you can do is basically, right, as you want to set it up, you can put it in this cradle, right? And if you guys haven't seen one of these, like, it's not a selfie stick, right? I do have a selfie stick. I actually don't like the thing. I prefer to just shoot video and pictures, Snappy-Matic, just straight camera, just hold my camera in my hand rather than have one of those selfie sticks. But anyway, so you just put it in this cradle right here, and you can tighten it up. And I'll take it out. And you can see, so I'll turn it on. It's kind of, moving around. You do balance it, but then you can turn it on. Give it a second. Boom. Comes up and it's stabilized. So this is how you can get some better quality, like smoother videos, right? So a lot of cameras these days, even your cell phone, which has pretty good quality video now for these days.
Yep.
You can make it even a bit more smooth with something like this. That's gyroscopically stabilized. And even after you pair the device with your phone and the app, you can control the phone, the cradle with the phone, or with the actual thing you're holding. It includes buttons to like start the movie, stop the movie, take pictures. It has a bunch of other modes where you can use the trigger to like maybe center it up or like hold it and lock down on the subject. And as you scroll right or left, you see how the camera actually wouldn't move from the subject.
Yeah,
so it does a bunch of cool stuff. Yeah, you get one there too.
So yeah, basically, and so
pretty cool.
because our phones, mine's the iPhone 12. I know the iPhone 11 Pro Max.
Yep.
And it shoots great 4K footage, and this one here shoots excellent 4K footage as well. So we don't want to lose those as having the opportunity to shoot with them. As a result, also, like I said, you saw in the earlier pictures for the ZV-1, this is also one of the same devices. Now this one is a little bit more complex because it also offers about 6 different modes. One is is Vortex Mode, which I'm excited. Cool. Yeah, which I'm excited about. Which basically means when we turn around and take, where's your tester camera?
It's here.
Yeah. Okay. So let's turn around and do this real quick.
This is another one of our cameras. I don't know if we mentioned this before. This is a camera I already had prior to us starting this whole endeavor in the channel and everything. It's a Canon G9x. I actually bought this for one of the wife and I went on a trip overseas to a few different places. And I wanted something that could do some decent low-level light, some time exposures, and just really better than what we would call maybe a Snappy-Matic camera at the time. Because cell phone cameras were okay, but they weren't great then. They've gotten much better now, as you know. But anyway, this is a pretty good camera. Still, there is a new version. The G9X Mark II is out. It does a few other things this one doesn't do. But anyway, this is kind of our third camera in the lineup.
the mix.
Yeah. So.
You know what I really need?
I do not know.
Could you grab the box for the stabilizer, the gray one there, because I need the set screw for the bottom. That one right there. Yep. So anyhow, when you mount these cameras on the gimbals, the most important thing is that you usually have to have them balanced. So part of that process is to turn around and first figure out your orientation. So I'm going to be sliding this in with the camera screen facing towards me. So that means this plate has to be mounted inwards. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that really quickly. There we go. And then the easy part about this is it's a simple slide in.
That's pretty cool once you get it balanced.
Once you get it balanced, you drop the pin, slide it in there. Okay, I remove one lock. I remove the second lock.
I think this one's the one that locks
and then
right.
this one goes up this way. So it's a 3-stage locking system. And then once I do that, this thing should float in position. Ooh, did I put it? I put it on backwards. No!
These things happen. We're live.
I
It's all
can do
good.
this. I can do this.
Can be done.
It can be done. And we'll be doing this exact same garbage, upside down, backwards, in the field, trying to figure out what we just made not work properly, the whole
Yeah,
nine.
that's part of it. I mean, we got some tools here that we have used for various like side projects, one-offs.
Yeah.
But kind of going to the track and seeing the race all at once and taking all this stuff is going to be something to manage.
Okay.
Not just data, you know, how much battery life all this stuff has too, but just the sound. I think we mentioned it too in one of the previous videos as well. I mean, if you haven't been to a race live, they're kind
difficult.
of loud, and that's part of the fun, that they're loud, but managing something as far as like taking video or even like being live, because we want to try to do a live show as well from the parking lot before. We're you'll be right along with us figuring it out, so that's part of it.
And we will be making all sorts of mistakes, and you know, this is the stuff that we're going to go through, the hard times of learning the new trade of what we want to do here. So let's just make sure this thing was not fully locked. That's locked. Now we're fully locked. Okay, so she's balanced as best I'm going to do for this moment. I could bring this back a little bit more, but you know what?
I like these legs on this one.
This is nice. Yeah, because this has got this.
But that's not DJI, right?
No,
It's
this
crane.
is Shazun. I can't remember how to pronounce it. Oh, you're not connected. How did you just move? Aha. All right, now everybody's all together.
Gotta bring one of these too.
Which is that?
This is one I want to use at home as well. Yep.
So also for this stabilizer, you can use this with a cell phone as well.
Yes.
So it's for small-bodied cameras.
Yeah, actually,
and
this one.
yeah, so that one actually will adapt.
Yep. So
And you
put it
can
there and
just put it in there and you go. So this one has the same functionality. This one is a little bit more stable because the gimbal motors are stronger.
Are they?
Yeah, just quite a bit stronger.
Okay.
And then it's got my favorite mode, which should be go mode. And then there's what we call Vortex Mode. So if we're going to try to do some really interesting shots here, Vortex Mode will allow you... Whoop, oh, wait! What do you... You lied to me. You're really not set, are you? But are you going to roll over? Hold on. I thought I locked this, but I did not. What the hell is still loose? This
Excitement continues.
The excitement continues because I did not lock this axis. There. Oh, I was pinned against the other one.
So if any of you guys watching the video have been to the Rolex 24 or any one of those endurance races, please let us know what you thought. Not just of equipment, but just the race itself. Like, is there something at the race you guys would like us to try to cover in particular? We have a few ideas we might share a bit later. Ideas
mode.
like shots we actually want to get. And things you would maybe remember most about the race. So we have some ideas, but again, let us know what you think. Is there something you want us to try to cover in particular?
Ooh, it really doesn't like the way I balanced this. It's actually quite mad at me for Vortex Mode. It doesn't like it at all. Huh. And it's telling me you've unbalanced the camera inappropriately. So, back to the drawing board. Anyhow, you know what? You can take them on a roll for the big crane. This...
The big crane.
Is the big crane.
I haven't even played this thing much. I'm not even gonna lie.
Well, that's okay.
It's it's large. So if I'm not mistaken, right, this is something we're going to see if we can get in. It's also a stabilizer. You can see it's got a bunch of built-in tools that helps move the device around, and it's gyroscopically stabilized. And it's currently set up for the camera, correct?
Yes.
Yep. So that's again, he was talking earlier about the Panasonic, the bigger camera, the bigger body. This is set up for that. And again, this is one of the things, if we can get it in, sure, awesome. If we can't, we'll deal with it, right? I mean,
well,
we'll see.
They both have in-body stabilization. Anyway,
I mean, just the size of the actual thing, just the size of getting it in or out. But we'll see.
All right, let's see. Does it really want to do it for? There she goes.
But
no, she didn't like Vortex Mode again.
Yep.
Your camera must be heavier. Really? Interesting. So I might have to bump up the motor strength on this. So if you go into the application, it actually gives you the opportunity to bump up the motor strength. But what it'll allow you to do is actually do inverted shots. So as you're walking along, it'll allow you to do inverted shots. So that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Excited about that. Okay.
I like how it locks. Yeah, that's cool.
That's a very nice device. Okay, so when we can't use those, we have these.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Baby grip tripod. So for long time exposure shots, we want to clamp a camera to a grandstand bleacher handle or something like that. We have that.
Yep.
When we're simply just walking around, we don't want to be super stabilized. We want to put the camera down. We put this on the ZV.
Same thing. And
we have the camera controls, start, stop, photo shoots, and then we can lock this in different directions.
This is just your basic tripod.
Yep.
A bit short. It depends what you want to do. It has a locking ball on here, so it's nothing electronic at all about this. It's just a tripod, and similar how the Joby. I think you moved it over there.
I did.
But we have the one with the bendy legs. He
was talking about
this. I used one of these on, again, that's not that same trip I mentioned before, but again, the wife and I went somewhere. We were near somewhere with an active volcano that we were at a safe distance, and I was able to attach this to a railing nearby and get a time exposure at night of the stars with the volcano. So it's pretty cool if you're kind of like amateur photographer and you have the basic tripods, you know what they are, tripods, monopods, okay. But these are pretty nifty. If you don't have one of these, and again, we're not sponsored or anything, I'm just telling you what I think of these. I think it's pretty cool. You can attach these to, as Mike said, anything really. You can wrap it around. The legs are bendy. And actually, one thing too, these feet, is your feet magnetic? Mine are magnetic.
No, mine are not.
Okay, you can get them with magnetic feet as well, and that's pretty cool too. You can attach lights to this, or the camera itself. If the camera's light enough, you can actually attach this to, like, if you're working in your shop or something. It does a bunch of other stuff. So,
right.
There you go.
So then when we're not even using those, what we have is a good old-fashioned nice, this is a Peak Design camera strap, so that this will be a single body sling, so that if you're doing some stuff where you're hanging the camera out like this and you just want to maybe make sure you have this around your neck and you have something ready to shoot with, then we got the old camera straps, which is great.
Cool.
All right, so what's next? The other options that we have for let's talk about mounting options.
Oh, okay, cool.
So on the way to the show, if we decide to do some actual in-car video, which we will, okay, we need some way to actually mount a camera inside the actual car.
The automobile.
The automobile. So the first thing we have is, these are from Small Rig, so if you want to go ahead and show them how that one works.
Yeah, so Small Rig. So again, it's pretty robust. It's maybe hard to tell on camera, but these are metal. These are metal arms. So they're pretty robust. You can hold quite a bit of weight with these, and all the connections are also metal as well. This has the standard screw-in type, again, for most of your cameras, so you can put your camera on that. And then this you could screw into anything else that would accept this. And the arm, where they connect, they have little grooves, and they just match into each other. And then you lock them in with this wing nut, and boom, you're good to go. I mean, that's quite good. I didn't know about these until you mentioned it a few weeks ago, and I was like, wow, these would hold a lot of weight, actually.
So in this studio, those actually I have holding on to a Elgato panel for lighting, and I have it holding up one other Elgato one and two other cameras. And then the nice part is that anything that you have that's either tubular or partially square, these are the Small Rig clamps, and they feed these directly together. And what you can do is, when you find what you want to actually connect this to, you first you lock this bad boy in, then you screw this bad boy in.
Yep, they're all modular. You can put this one on there too.
Put this one on there. You can actually tie 3 of these together if you want. And then if you're really, really ambitious,
these are pretty cool.
You have one of these, which is a Big Daddy mount. Now this thing will also clamp on to just about anything. It's much more rigid. It'll take almost 50 pounds of camera, lighting equipment, and so on and so forth. It does the same function, but you can articulate the elbow. You can also articulate the head.
That's cool.
You can screw on multiple devices to this. It'll articulate from the base. Got a massive clamp on it. You could also readapt it to use one of the smaller clamps if you want to, but these are also in the same category. This one's going to be staying at home because you don't really need this on the type of shoot that we're going to be making up for tomorrow. But it is another rugged piece of camera equipment that we're looking forward to setting up a shot with, which is fantastic. After that, of course, we're going to have the basic tripods, one large tripod, but they're not allowed actually into the race, so we're only going to be able to use that in the parking lot for part of the live stream.
True.
Now,
lighting.
You want to go to lighting, or you want to
lighting and sound later?
Sound and lights. Okay, so it doesn't make a difference how much equipment we bring if we can't shoot anything worth a damn. And especially when we're going to be covering the stuff that we want to do when we're talking. The difficult part that Corey said before is, at a Rolex 24, it is loud. The cars are loud. Even the cars not under power, when they're actually going down the track into braking zones, they're still loud.
That's part of the experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting it on film for something that's actually usable will be trial and error.
Yeah, because we've never, first of all, now the other challenges that are going up against us, going to the Rolex 24 and making that your first shoot is, we're going to be shooting from daylight into nighttime.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's going to be really crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, we're also going to be shooting fast-moving objects. Also, lighting conditions will go from the extremely well-lit sections of the track to the most poorly lit sections of the grandstand areas and some of the areas where they have some of the activities, like when you go into the booths for cars and so on and so forth.
Yep.
So that's going to be another challenge. When we're walking, for the most part, we do want one portable light source, and this one is a LumaCube. This is their smallest panel.
I'm pretty impressed with that too.
And this thing makes gobs, and I talk about gobs of light when you actually can see.
It's just here you can see it.
On his neck there's that much light coming in. Okay, this thing for walking light and just having some sort of facial light, so when you're doing a selfie shot or something of that nature, or you're doing a walk and talk section, this thing is fantastic. Now the only other problem is the battery's only going to last at its highest brightness for about 40 minutes, so we're going to have to take something to recharge this, and we'll talk about that.
What's the connection to recharge that?
Type C, which is fantastic.
Type C, perfect.
Type C.
That's good, yeah.
Okay, you can talk about that one for the ZV.
I don't actually know about that, so have at it.
Oh, well, here. You can talk about that one?
Okay.
So this is basically for the Sony ZV-1. This is what's called what does they call it? A dead cat or a dead mouse? I don't know. So the microphone on the ZV is actually very well dedicated towards walking and talking when the actual camera is pointed towards you, which is fantastic. So you clip this into the hot shoe on the Sony, and whenever there's any wind or buffeting noise, so on and so forth, I've seen these tested, and it's fantastic. So if we do get ourselves into some windy situations and we can't pick up proper audio, we're going to slap that on, and that should help us out a lot.
Is this technically a shotgun mic?
Yes.
You know? Okay. So
I believe.
Yeah. So this is if again, without getting too specific, if we talk about shotgun mics for a second, they're very directional. That's the main thing, right? If you talk about a microphone on just any old microphone on your phone or on this camera here, it's kind of just a hole, and it just picks up audio. Like anything in here, boom, and here's that. Shotgun mics, you're able to actually direct, and literally they're shaped in the sense that you can point them at the sound you want to pick up, and that's where you get the sound from. They're made to isolate, or rather not pick up the sound from other than a direction. So this will also mount to the ZV-1, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is going to mount to the ZV-1 right on top, and then you can attach it with this. And then same thing. So we can, while it's going to be loud, and we're going to have to manage those audio levels, we're going to be able to actually pick up sound from particularly like cars or places on the track we want to pick stuff up at, and we're going to be walking around in the middle of the infield as well, looking at booths and checking out vendors, and as we said, looking at the free stuff, as there'll be free stuff there too. So this will help us get that audio for that shot and not everything else.
Yep.
Hopefully. So there you go.
We'll see. Okay, so now, as we get further and further into the shoots and we go into more complex situations, especially, like I said, going from daylight to nighttime, shooting myself as compared to shooting Corey, we're going to be doing different shot setups. So the one thing that's really difficult to do is to try to get your shots to look ideal when you're looking through only the viewfinder of something the size of your phone.
Yeah, quite.
Okay, or even smaller on both the cameras. They don't have very big panels. The other thing is, it's also hard to tell on a very condensed screen when you're exposed or underexposed. Also, if you're actually shooting at the right focal length where your two subjects are in focus or the cars are in focus. So it's good to have what we call an external monitor.
Boom.
So this is a battery-powered Field World 4K external monitor. It comes with standard...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. It comes with standard HDMI ports. Okay, it also has an upgradable USB port, and it allows you to go ahead and through the setup, you can actually set this thing up to zebra. It'll do focus outlining. It will go through and basically take over the same place that you would have your display in your camera. The only thing is, once again, it's a nice 4K, and it's actually massively large.
And portable.
And portable.
And you got a hood?
And it's got a nice hood on it.
That's pretty cool.
And also for reviewing footage, if you're going to play something out of the body of the camera, meaning that if you don't want to look at your small display and you really want to get in closer to some other view sections, this actually has on-body zoom, so it will allow you to zoom into a section of the video that's coming directly from your camera, so you can actually review your focus and your exposure through there, which is another thing.
So I haven't used that before. It's new to me, this thing. How long does that battery last? Or you think?
That's the tough part. So this one is a 45-minute only review, right? So if you're going to be using it, 45 minutes for the battery is about the max I can get. You can get an hour and a half, but if you're using it for full-on walk-and-shoot shots, which I would prefer not to do.
It's a review
But it's a review tool. But look, other guys that have massive rigs that have these things hooked up to massive battery packs also have the ability to run these almost all day long. Yeah. Unfortunately, for what we're going to be doing with it, it's going to be a little bit different purpose because, while we can still bring the actual memory cards out of the cameras and connect them to the iPad Pro and do such like that, the bigger issue is that when we do that, we do have a bigger screen, but we're viewing the direct digital feed, but then we have to still take the camera cards out and hot swap them, which is a pain in the butt.
And if you're not aware what a hood does, maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Oh wait, I took the hood bracket off.
Yeah. So we'll show you just a second. So that mount just attaches right to the front, right? And if you can imagine, right? We're trying. This is the whole reason of this is it's portable. And if you're portable and you're out in daylight, and if you fly on any drones or anything like that, looking at screens in the daylight, any of that stuff, which everybody has by now, you can get glare. You can get just where the sun's in the wrong spot, and you just can't see the screen. You're like, turn the brightness all the way up, so you can mount a hood to the device, to this thing. And it literally makes a little like.
A tent.
Right? And then you can get in there and you can be like, okay, cool. And anyway, that's what a hood is, and they are quite useful.
You could also pretend you're an NFL referee and call pass interference. Get it? No. All right.
I get it.
Yeah, right.
So you get your own little hood there.
I get it.
All right. So along with that, the other thing that we're going to have to bring up with us is a bunch of accessories. Now, the harder part about all of this is that when we start actually transporting stuff around is we can bring certain very specific and HDMI cables with us. Obviously, Type-C cables and everything else we need to connect microphones.
Batteries.
Okay. Also,
all the batteries.
Yeah. So for each camera, we have 3 batteries. All right. So that should give us on each camera almost on the GH5 that'll give us 6 hours of shooting. For the ZV, it'll give us almost 5.5 hours of shooting. The difference is for the Sony is that the Sony will also be able to recharge itself via battery banks. So we also are going to be bringing.
Yep.
Bum, bum, bum.
We got, so these 2 are just mine, and they're ones that the wife and I travel with. Actually, I have more than just these. But this first, the bigger one, it's a 20,000 milliamp hour battery pack with 2 ports. Basically, both of them, if you have just one in there, it has smart ports as well. Yep. And they'll output 5 volts at 3.4 amps. Just one of the ports. And that's, for 20,000 milliamp hours, honestly, for a phone or even a tablet, you can run it for quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this thing. We take it everywhere. This is another one. It's there's a bunch of different ones. This just happens to be a Patriot. It's a 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack. Same kind of thing. It does a little bit less amps per slot.
Yeah.
But it's got integrated light. Hey, sure, why not? But so also, if you're down for that kind of thing, it's got a solar panel on the front too. So if you're out hiking, I have taken this out on hikes and other stories, of course. And it does charge, again, as you can imagine, the quality, the amount of solar energy you can get through one of these. It depends on what kind of device it is and how well it's manufactured. Obviously, a bit of the direct sunlight as well. So, I mean, it's a thing. It'll extend your range out a bit, but yeah. So.
And then after all that said, so we can't run a generator anywhere because we don't have that ability. But this is the next best thing to bring in a generator. This is actually the Jackery, what is this? The 240, the Explorer 240.
That's crazy.
Now this is 16 amp hours, not milliamp, amp hour battery.
Yeah,
okay?
oh yeah.
So this thing could actually power a refrigerator for 6.5 hours. A full-on blown refrigerator, as well as it'll probably give me 25 charges on my MacBook Pro. I can't tell you, I think it's 60 charges on a cell phone. But this is basically going to be...
That's the car, right?
Yeah.
We're not walking around with this thing?
This is staying in the back of the car, but if we have to go back to the car and drop off some equipment to be charged...
I can see us going through security and the guy's like, so what is this, your lunch?
Is this? Yeah, no.
Your lunch in there? No, it's...
It also has a display, which is really nice. It tells you 100%. It's got 2 Type A ports. It's got an in port so you can solo charge.
Those are 2.4 amps?
Yep.
Okay.
So those are 2.4 amps each, or 5 volts on the bottom one. The bottom one can do both.
Okay, cool.
So you actually have a lot of power with this, which is nice.
I hadn't seen one of those before, so that's cool.
So that'll be able to give us the power that we need throughout the day. So if there's anything that we forget to charge, we can simply go back to the car, drop a whole bunch of devices on cables, walk away, come back an hour later, everything will be charged up, and if we missed out on anything, we'll be ready to go. So that's going to be the next part. And I think we're bringing 2 of those Patriots, aren't we?
Well, you got one too. Yeah, yours out there.
So we got the 2
but same thing. Yeah,
Patriots
we got
and
2 of
so on and so
those. I have another 10,000 I might bring, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
And last but not least, unfortunately, we have to bring this whole thing. Okay, and what's basically in this box?
In the car.
In the car. All right, and what this basically is, this is basically almost like our gaffing materials. So whenever we want to rig something and we're not really sure how we're going to get a shot to work out, we have a lot of options, but we're going to be using different ball joints for camera mounts. Okay, different type. We have all different types of mounts for hot shoe mounts and for light mounts. We also have in here different clamps, adapters for changing the gender on hot shoe mounts. We have a little pocket tool for adjusting things.
Those things are super cool.
Yeah, those things are awesome. Smaller ball heads.
Yep.
Some additional cabling.
Yep.
We have wire ties and whatnot for routing cables. And we did have a GoPro in here, but it's GoPro 2, so it just couldn't handle the duties.
We said you tested it right, and it wasn't quite up to the quality we were looking for. Especially
We're looking
with these
for
things.
So yeah, and the other thing that we really have to discuss at this point is, and Corey and I are still in this discussion, is because we can shoot in 4K.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here's the big question, okay? When you're shooting in 4K, it basically gives you a screen sample size of pixels so large.
Yep.
The difference is most TVs still are 1080p, and most of YouTube content, unless you're really, really exclusive, is 1080p content.
Yep.
So the difference is that when you're shooting in 4K, obviously it's big widescreen format, but shooting in 4K allows us to do something else. It allows us to take a quarter of that screen size and sample it down to 1080p, or basically HD standard.
Yeah, because this is 2K.
That's 2K, right?
That's 2K.
Our phones are 4K.
Phones are 4K.
Yeah, so our cameras can either be 1080p or 4K, right?
That one's 4K.
That's 4K. So the difference is that when you want to take basically 1080p, it allows you to sample in a whole area from a 4K frame and sample it down just to one particular area. The difference is in 1080p, our file sizes are fairly small.
Quite, yeah.
4K, we're sampling at 4 times the size of 1080p, which means basically the image size and the actual file size on camera is 4 times as big. All right, so that's going to be another challenge for us to figure out exactly.
Storage.
Yeah, storage. We have storage. However, we're just going to have to figure it out on the fly because, again, if you think this video is broken and a bad setup, guess what? Again, this is starting from the bottom.
That's how it goes.
Okay, every YouTuber out there has had to start somewhere. Okay, and the difference is that although we have some very, very good equipment, to put our skills to the test is going to be the ultimate challenge, to see how we take all of this and tie it together.
So there's tons of people out there, again, just like he's saying, that make videos and know, either from experience or somebody else talking to them, right? You can have the best equipment, but it's what you do with it.
Yes.
And so, and we're not here saying we know exactly what to do with it. We're not coming off it like that. We're saying we have an idea what we want to do. We have some interesting ideas for some artsy stuff, but also, getting the race and getting the feel of the race. And we have tools that will do that. They will enable us to do that. So we're now working on, as you guys are coming along with us in the channel, right? We're making content. We're making content you guys want to see, but also we want to see too.
Yeah, sure.
And we're learning as we go. That's the whole point.
See, I would be happy if we get there and if we waste 2 hours of footage, but we come out with 5 minutes that makes a viable video.
Yeah, we're like, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's we could title it, 5 minutes of going to what it's like to actually attend the Rolex, and that's what we actually come out with. To me, that would be a huge success.
Still with the Rolex. Still got a video.
Still got a video, okay? And if we came out with 1 minute of actual usable cinematographic footage, that could be something of part of an experience, I would still be really happy with that because at the very least we wouldn't come home empty-handed.
Of course.
Lastly, the experience of what you're going to see behind the scenes of us trying to do exactly what's going on right now, which is completely unscripted. We don't have a script for this. we're completely hip firing, and when we're trying to do some of the video edits and so on and so forth, we will be doing the exact same thing.
Yep.
In other words, we might actually just turn the cameras on where we're both sitting in here, and we're editing.
You like that? No.
No, I don't like that. No.
But that would be good over there.
Sure.
Yeah, who knows?
So where we're actually doing some work, we're actually going to key you guys into some of the background stuff because, well, everybody shows you the snippets, and it might not be exciting. You know, the other part of it is that for us, this is part of the experience, and it's the growth. It's every time that we spend in front of the camera, every minute that we spend with a camera in hand, and every time that we take something out and we try to apply it to the show, it's all a learning experience for us. So, and you know about learning experiences.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I've shot, well, I've done a bunch of stuff. Without getting too much into it too, my stepdad's not a professional photographer, but one might say that he is. He's pretty good.
Professional photographer.
He's pretty good. He does sell some prints here and there. He does a lot of landscape stuff.
Right.
And I've tried to pick up as much from him as I could over the travels we've been able to do together and been fortunate enough to do together for different places all over. I mean, Hawaii, Alaska, everywhere, right? And he's got crazy equipment. And we won't go into that because we don't have that and we don't need that.
No.
Right? What we want to do, this will do what we need to do, right? Yes, for now, right?
For now.
But the point there being, it's always a learning experience. We've seen a lot of cool stuff, and we didn't always make these videos before, of course, right? We did a lot of stuff before we did this.
Yes.
And a lot of it was cool stuff, but we didn't. It wasn't a thing that we even thought about. Oh, I'll make a video of this. So, maybe you did.
I thought about it, but the problem, it's...
So, anyway.
Like, going back to what he's saying, like, for us, we have taught people how to do a number of activities. Like, we've both instructed people how to fly helicopters. You know, we've both went through a lot of experiences in that environment. And by taking that experience and what we've done in aviation and kind of parlaying it into what could we teach ourselves? And that's one of the biggest challenges, right? What can you teach yourself? What new thing can you bring out of your hat today that you didn't know you could do the day before, that tomorrow you might be really impressed with your results? Yeah, you gotta...
It was pissed. You guys see that?
If you don't turn it off, it'll spaz on you. The other one tried to do it to me like 6 times. And I forget that it's like the head of a snake. You have to have it turned off.
It's not a
happy camper, because it'll spin like a propeller.
Yeah, did you guys see that? Wow, that was really upset.
So that's another part of this whole thing. Now, we have a whole flow chart of stuff that we want to shoot. We have a whole idea of what the actual representation of our version of the Rolex is going to look like. And I'm excited.
Yeah.
But look, the potential is for total and absolute disaster.
Of course.
I mean, I can guarantee you we're going to come back and look at a couple of footage shots and be like, man, I thought that looked so good. And even though we reviewed it, we get it back into the studio and it's garbage. Now, the other part of it is we do have 2 very nice MacBook Pros. One's brand new.
It's true.
Okay, one of the best ones they make right now, the Intel i9 one, which was only about 6.5 months old, and that thing can throttle 4K video. And the old MacBook Pro 13-inch that I have actually still can do a great deal amount of video editing. And what we're actually, I'm impressed to see if we can do this. We're not going to use Final Cut Pro either. We're going to use iMovie.
I've seen a few other ones.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name them all here because I've just been kind of researching and looking at that.
Yeah.
We are going to use iMovie. I was going to tell you this today. I'm going to tinker with some other ones. But okay. iMovie as well.
Oh, you didn't tell me this. I didn't know.
This is brand new, right? Boom, right here. There you go. But yeah,
what are you going to tinker with? Premiere?
I have them on I have the names. I'm not going to drop names down anyway. I have to look at some stuff first.
Okay.
And see which ones I like, and then I might mention them. But yeah, there's some other, again, free options.
Free?
I like free. And they've been highly reviewed. Like, they're pretty useful.
Right.
So I'll give a go at that stuff.
Yeah, I have used Final Cut Pro. I have
as well, actually. Yeah. A long time ago, though.
The only issue that I have Final Cut Pro is that it's $299, and I could invest that right now, but I don't want to, because I know for basic editing and doing what we can, I want to see how powerful, because I have seen people do this, because iMovie is basically the budget version of Final Cut Pro. The timeline editor is almost very identical. The tools are very identical. You can do things if you're creative with the tools that they give you in iMovie. You can make creative cuts. You can make ramp-ups and speeds and slow things down. It's just a question of how much you really want to do, where Final Cut Pro kind of simplifies that whole process.
Yeah.
However, if I could also come out of this with a 5-minute movie and say that we did it in iMovie and it looks fantastic and it turns heads, more power to us, because
Why not?
Why not?
I mean,
right?
yeah, of course. And there's plenty of people on YouTube that do use iMovie or in other solutions. So yeah, it's we're getting there. We're figuring it out. So here we go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so we're stuck here. I took your filter off your microphone, so we're probably gonna have to close out the entire thing from here today.
Just walk over and just.
Yeah, somebody will have to do it when we're ready to say goodbye. So
Okay.
I'm pretty much out of it. The only other thing that we could really discuss is what kind of shots we want to go through. So the basic premise of a good movie or a good piece of cinematographic material is, does it tell a story? So there's two different stories, like I said, we'd like to tell. So the first one is, it's going to be us getting ready to go to the Rolex. It's going to be us in the car.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Yeah, behind the scenes kind of stuff. And then there's going to be us arriving at the Rolex, which the actual main shoot of the main video will be, which we'll get, exterior shots, we'll get shots of the actual signage.
Yeah, all that
okay,
stuff.
and as we go and enter the venue, all right? After that,
Yeah,
it's going to be basically kind of like a walk around and shoot, right? We're going to go to different vendors, what we see,
what we hear, of course,
right? Yeah, what we
the
hear.
food, yeah. Again, if you guys, as he's getting to, it's a story, and it's if you guys haven't been there, you're basically there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we want you to be as excited about it, and as interested at it. If you had questions, what was over there? Oh, we showed you what was over there.
Sure.
Or why we liked it. And so yeah, of course.
So we'll go with that. Now, I've already done some research on this, and from what I'm told, manufacturers have still brought a majority of their equipment still there. They're still going to have their giveaways.
Yeah.
So that's going to be nice. The
Yeah.
food is still there. The Ferris wheel will be there. So that's a typical Rolex 24 shot that everybody likes to get.
Pretty iconic, yeah.
Yeah, it's iconic. And then we're going to travel to different sections of the track, because we know that when you're actually watching from home, you only get the box that they give you, and those are hard-mounted cameras.
It's true.
And you don't get a real sense and feel of the size of the venue. You got to remember, it's a 2.5-mile track, okay, just on the outside. Okay, and the Rolex with the infield and everything else that it's covering, it's immense. We will, I think on average, we've walked 8 miles every single time.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
on
been there
average
quite a bunch of times, and we like to look at everything.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's there. There's always something new to see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's can be similar, but again, yeah. So yeah, there's plenty of space. There's plenty of shots we want to get. There's plenty of things to take shots of. So I think what we mentioned earlier about the storage might be
a challenge.
Might be a thing,
okay?
but yeah.
And as we work up towards, you know what I just remembered though?
No.
There is the Best Buy right across the street.
Oh,
There's literally across from Daytona, USA. You literally walk across what I call the Moo Bridge, which actually is a footbridge across. You go to the left, and there's a Best Buy right there. Matter of fact, it's where I think I got that at camera.
We'll try not to spend too much.
Yeah, if we need video storage, it's a micro SD card.
We're gonna try to head that off before we need to buy anything.
True. And then lastly, as we start and continue to tell the story, the challenge of, I guess, shooting from daytime to nighttime is we have to have a plan of where we're going to be, when we're going to be there.
Yep.
And when there's racing action, we also know where you want to be on a restart, which is you definitely want to be on the first U-turn turn coming back through the infield, because that's usually where the cars...
The hairpin or?
The hairpin. Well, some people call it the U-turn, some people call it the hairpin.
Yeah.
It's the hairpin as you come off the pit straight. There's always a collaboration of people there on restarts, because you got to remember you have 4 different classes of cars going different speeds.
I think it's 5.
And 5
classes?
this year.
Yeah,
5
classes. Yeah.
And it's crazy because usually somebody screws up.
There's a lot of cars going in there,
Yeah.
but again, we say this, and if you know what we're talking about, you're like, yeah, there is. But you'll see it in the video. There's 24 hours of racing. There's bound to be something going on, and we're bound to be able to capture it. So.
And when
it's exciting.
And when you see it from a different perspective of what you see on TV, you garner a little bit more respect for what these drivers are going through as well. Because when you look at the U-turn, or the hairpin as they call it, coming through, it looks pretty wide and like there's a lot of space, because the focal lengths and the way that they choose to shoot it from there, it makes it look massive. When you're actually looking at it, it is not nearly as massive, and the track is not nearly as wide as you would be given the perception of.
Yeah, see 2 or 3 cars I've seen go into the hairpin. It's like, there's not a whole lot of room there.
That's not going to really work.
There's a lot of junk on the outside of the turn, stuff that comes off the car that reduces grip, and it can get exciting. It's flat, it's not cambered or nothing like that, so...
Really flat.
It's it's good.
Really flat. And then there's the next chicane, or the partial, the elbow.
Yeah,
the kink, and then you come around. I guess that's the other turn back around.
Yeah.
So the infield section in of itself is great. The hardest place to actually see any racing action from the infield at Rolex is
The bus stop.
The bus stop. And actually, which really sucks because the bus stop is really where they're doing some of the most maximum braking, okay, and putting the most stress on the car because they're usually going to the bus stop at near 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's on the other side of the lake, and it's unless you have a press pass, you're not going to see it. However, one of the most interesting places, I think, has always been on the main stretch when they make the final turn to come in to either enter the pits or to make the turn into the infield because when they pass through the start-finish line and the starting stand, you're basically trying to question who's on the throttle for how long to make the deep dive into that corner to make the first left-hand turn back into the infield.
That's something, again, too. I know we're getting a bit random thoughts here, right? But exactly, like, thinking about that kind of thing, going into turn one, after they've been flat out since the bus stop, you really run into, again, as you said, when to brake, but you're also trying to figure out who's, if you're on the track, who's in the other classes, because that helps determine when they're going to brake.
Yeah.
Right? Because the heavier cars, GT cars and things, they're going to brake before DPIs and stuff like that. We'll get into all that kind of thing, I think, maybe later, too. How to differentiate. There's different colors on the cars. The headlights are different colors.
Oh, yeah.
So there's ways to tell at night, but that's part of the story. We'll get there.
That's part of the story. And then the other part of it is when we finally get close enough. Now, what was it, 3 years ago, we used to be able to stand on the fence.
It was kind of crazy.
It was kind of crazy. A long time ago, before they had the couple of catch fence incidents in the NASCAR events where actual parts of cars landed up in the front stretch, which was not good.
Anything hits you at 200
plus miles an hour. Hurts you pretty bad. So they stopped doing what they were doing before then, and they actually made the attempt to bring the fans back, and they have done that. So
where we used to 20-foot range there, 30-foot
we used to be able to get a lot closer, but we will attempt to make it appear that we are as close as possible because we do have some lenses that should be able to shorten up that distance for us.
We're not gonna do anything crazy.
No,
I've seen people, again, in the past years when you could get close.
Yeah.
Stick their phones through the fence, and they got like this much of the arm out of the fence. That's
never that far.
Crazy.
Never that far. I put the lens.
Yeah.
I've made the lens.
Yeah, here's the fence.
Yeah, I've gone through the other.
So you don't get the fence in your shot. But you're not on the other side of the fence.
We've seen people with their hands.
Literally like a whole hand through there. That's
not good.
No, don't do that.
All right, so the countdown has begun. I think at this point we're almost going to be 24 hours. What is it? 3:40 is the start time.
Well, it would have been. Oh, it starts at 3:40.
I don't know. I forgot because I looked it up.
Sometimes it's 1:30, but sometimes I have to look.
We'll see, but we should. I know it should be 1:30. You're right. 1:30.
Yeah, the race would be going for 28 minutes by then. So yeah.
And probably in the link in the description below, I'm probably going to put in one more article, which is a share about the times that you can catch it on television. Because we'll be actually tuning into that with our phones as well, trying to cover some of the other action. And then when it comes to nighttime, I'll be pretty much watching for most of the night.
And just along with that too, we didn't put it down there yet, but we'll put a link down below as well for an article I found that's quite nice for people that might be interested to how to differentiate the 5 classes of cars this year.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're watching it from wherever you get to watch, or replays, or our video too, and you're like, oh, that's cool, why are all these cars got yellow headlights and that guy's not?
Yep.
You'll know.
LT, you got all the different classes, Le Mans, GT, and...
Yeah, LMP2 and DPIs, and
And, of course, we're looking for the Cadillacs and the Acuras and the
Mazdas. Listening for the Cadillacs.
Listening for the Cadillacs because now that they've quieted up the Corvettes, it should be completely different. Okay, well, that's all we got for you today. Look, we know this is...
It's kind of just a stream of consciousness.
Yes.
Stream of thought? That's not right. Stream of thought.
Stream of thought.
Yeah,
and we're going to have to now slowly take all this stuff and pack it up in the bags and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's the next challenge that we have. We hope to see you guys. I think the first thing we're going to try to do is we're going to pop in and out with a few different live stream moments at sporadic moments, probably just before we enter, sometime early in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're going to try to, once we get inside the gates, probably before it starts, maybe if we can hold up a cell phone and be like, hey guys, this is it.
Yeah, perfect. The stands, give them like a panorama.
Yeah.
So you guys are live and you can see the whole track from the grandstands, which we'll do some other shots from as well later.
I don't know if there's a copyright reason why we can't live stream the start, but the problem is we're going to have multiple cameras in our hands at that point, so it might be near impossible.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
We're not particularly sponsored or, we're just making videos.
Yeah, we're making videos.
We're having fun. So,
we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then at some point in the nighttime, If we get a chance to hit a corner that we think is really good and the experience is fantastic, maybe some cars blasting through there, we'll try to live stream that.
Yep.
So the channel is going to go up and down, probably sporadically. We don't know when we're going to do it. So it should be fun, and we'll just title it, hey, you know, hour of this of the Rolex.
We'll just say what we're doing.
Yeah.
Beginning of the race.
Yeah.
For
Whatever.
15 minutes. I don't know. Because you're not going to hear anything once the race starts.
No.
It'll be us going, yeah, so cool, check that out. And you'll be like, I can't hear anything.
So I forgot about this. We have 2 other challenges. The challenge is also that we will have masks on for some of this.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So unless we're sitting, eating, and drinking,
yeah, no, we're gonna have masks.
We're gonna have masks
for
on,
quite a bit, probably.
So for quite a bit of the day. Number 1. Number 2. If we're live streaming, unless we're under yellow caution conditions,
yeah,
you will not be able to hear us.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. Thinking about it just now with you guys, maybe we'll narrate some of the video later.
Yeah, some of it will have to.
In some way that's not obtrusive to the feeling of the video.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, there's gonna be shots that are good shots. Even the hairpin, right? Slower turns where there's probably gonna be some action. When they exit the turn and then they start getting back on the throttle, you're not gonna hear anything you say.
Yeah.
And that's just part of it.
You could barely hear yourself think.
For that note, we're probably gonna have. Well, I'm gonna have earplugs
Ear protection.
in.
Yeah, I will.
Earplugs in.
I got a whole
You're
bag.
gonna see earplugs in us. So
I forgot to actually have the earplugs on the table because technically that's one of the safety things that we should have.
Gonna have it for sure.
Gonna have those earplugs in because, like I said,
I bring 2 pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, within 30 minutes. Your ears will be ringing.
Yeah, I have fitted pairs. I don't know if you got fitted pairs from when we flew helicopters,
No,
but I have fitted pairs, custom molded, and then I bring spare because you just.
I have some that I took
It's
from
loud and you want to enjoy it, but you don't want to be deaf 20 years from now.
Yeah, when I used to land in Chicago with the airplanes, they used to have a whole bag full. You just go in and put earplugs.
It's just part of it. It's part of it. Being around aviation, you're gonna wear earplugs.
Ear protection.
And you should.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Cool. All right. Somebody's got to hit that button.
Do you want to go over here?
We got to say goodbye.
I'll go over here.
Corey's going to go do it, so it's the low button. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We will catch you from the Rolex. And can they see? Wait.
They can see.
Yeah, they can see. And everybody have a great day. And we will catch you also at the live stream on Monday with some results. And we'll see how this whole thing goes.
Look at the video. We'll post the links and all that stuff below. So, yeah, see you soon.
Take care, everybody. See you later. Have a good day.
Bye.